Howdy, so I want to talk about the Crimson Diamond. Now, this is a game that came out a little while ago, but I got the chance to play it, and I played it on Steam on PC, and this is an old school point-and-click adventure game. If you're into that sort of games from like the 90s, early 90s, like early Monkey Island, that sort of style, you're gonna like this game. It's a mystery sort of game. You're playing this character who is going to investigate this diamond. She works for a researcher and kind of represents this sort of museum. And you're going around saying like, oh, I've heard this diamond is been found. I need to find out more about it. But once you get to this location, everybody's a little bit hesitant on information. They say, oh, you can't go quite see this diamond. There's stuff going on. And then you're in this lodge where you get to meet a whole bunch of people. And all these people are staying in this lodge slash mansion house together. And certain elements happen that kind of keep you there. And so this is a game about talking to people, finding out what's going on, who these people are. There's something more going on here than just this diamond. There's something afoot, and it's up to you to figure it out. So if you like that detective mystery element, you're gonna like this game. I love the visuals of it. Again, it's got that old school 90s visuals, even from scene to scene. It was like watching a scene out of an old 90s PC game or like out of an NES sort of game. The way the scenes are presented to you, the color is really cool, seeing the way the colors are used in the game. It's just nice to play something like this that's of such of an older time currently. And, you know, the game worked well. Don't need a controller for this kind of game, really. You could just click with the mouse. I mean, that's kind of how it works. That's the way it's best used. You have a button you can use to bring up the inventory, and you can collect certain items, and until you use them, you can kind of hold on to those items. And what I appreciated about it too was there was a notepad, and this notepad would kind of help tell you the objectives of like what you need to do, but not necessarily tell you where to go to do it or how to do it. But at least there was something there to keep track, so you're not completely lost on being like, I don't know what to do. You have some sort of base guideline. But then sometimes, if you're like me, you might get lost in terms of like, okay, I know what I need to do, but I'm still quite confused on how to get there. And sometimes you might have to like get a little bit help from a walkthrough or something like that to kind of tell you this. And then once you see, you're going, oh, like, you know, not everybody's brain works the same way, especially like with me in puzzles. I'm not the best, even though I love like puzzle games. Sometimes I'll come across something and then I see the, you know, what the solution is. I'm like, oh, I would have never thought of that, you know, and that's okay. But the game does a good job of trying to help you out the best it can. Menus pretty simple, nothing too overcomplicated. You can kind of save whenever you need to, which is always a nice touch. You don't have to worry about losing progress, even though there's a little bit of an all-save element to it as well. You know, the game kind of opens up as you go from spend the first night just inside kind of the lodge building, and then once days progress, you kind of go outside and see more areas. And so when you're looking for stuff, the amount of locations you have to look changes. You're going to be revisiting locations multiple times just because there might be an item there you didn't need before, but you need it now, so you gotta go find it. The characters are switching positions. They each have their own rooms they stay in, but they do move around throughout the day and night. So sometimes an event will happen where all the characters are together, and then they split off and they're a different location than they were before the event started. So you're constantly revisiting and going around the space over and over again, saying like who's where now and what's where now and that sort of thing. So if you really like these adventure old school 90s games, it's definitely worth your time checking it out. I think it's really well made. It's really interesting to see where the story is going, and you'll have a fun time playing it for sure.